New York is the most exciting city in the world. It's a town of spectacular skyscrapers, millions of lights, and a rhythm that throbs 24 hours a day. This city has always had the greatest attractions, but New York has never seen anything like The Wiz, a new musical motion picture being made here that stars Diana Ross.
He's the Wiz and he lives in our
Slumdog. So The Wiz is a film that played in every black household growing up, except for mine. I did not watch this movie prior to making this video. Everyone who watched it said it's a staple in their childhood growing up, but I clearly missed the memo. So let's talk about it. The Wiz is a reimagining of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz told through black culture, soul, funk, and R&B music. The story follows Dorothy, a young woman from Harlem who gets swept away by a magical storm into a fantastical land of Oz. While searching for a way home, she journeys down the yellow brick road and meets the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion, each searching for something missing in themselves. Together they face danger, discover confidence and friendship, and ultimately learn that the power they were seeking was already within them. The original 1978 film starred Diana Ross and Michael Jackson and became a classical musical fantasy film directed by Sidney Lumet. So I'm gonna try my hardest not to make this video about Michael Jackson, even though that is what persuaded me to watching this film. That, and I came across a video by a woman named Ray. I'm gonna plug her channel here because I love her channel. She only has about 5-6 videos up, but her videos are stellar. So shout out Ray. She breaks down the backstory that happened in The Wiz, and that really motivated me to watch this movie even more than the Michael movie did. Just knowing all the history that happened that created this film, and also what led to historically great careers like Michael Jackson meeting Quincy Jones or Michael Jackson's relationship blooming with Diana Ross. All those things happened because of this movie. Also, it just having a black cast. It's movies like these in the past that end up equating to movies like Sinners getting made, where we see a predominantly black cast. But now let's get into The Wiz because there's a lot to talk about. So the movie opens up with Dorothy living in New York and there is a snowstorm going on. Dorothy and her mother are having a conversation about Dorothy moving out, and it seems like Dorothy's kind of like half listening right before her cat decides to run out the house. So while Dorothy's following her cat, we see something weird in the distance. A tornado, and I know this is like 1978, but gosh, you know, the snowstorm looked crazy. It just, I don't know, something about it just looked a little funky to me. But Dorothy gets trapped in the snowstorm and begins to twirl up, but it's just done in such a like 1978 corny way. I don't know if it's just the times, but let's just try to appreciate this film for what it is and the time that it came out in. So when Dorothy gets transported into Oz, she looks around and there's these shadow people that start to just kind of like stick off the walls. And one thing about this movie is, although there's some comical aspects to it, they're not even trying to be comical, but it just gets comical. There's also something sinister about this movie, and kind of it gets dark in a couple of scenes, which I actually appreciate because it made me take this film a little bit more serious. I think the darker aspects of this film work very well. But while there with the shadow people, this lady comes up to her and tells her that in order to get home, she has to keep these slippers on and follow the yellow brick road. So she's gonna follow the yellow brick road with the slippers on to meet the wizard. So Dorothy sets off to her adventure, and on her way to the wizard, she meets the Scarecrow, who is getting bullied by other birds. Now the Scarecrow is played by no other than Michael Jackson, and I just off the gate have to say something that is very, very common sense. Michael Jackson is great in this film. His singing obviously is amazing. You know, I think he gives one of the best singing performances in this film. Obviously, like there's just no one can compete. Actually, in Ray's video, she mentioned that Diana Ross had to tell Michael Jackson to kind of tone it down with his acting and singing and dancing because he was almost outshining her, which is, it's like, come on, it's Michael Jackson. I believe the song is called You Can't Win and Get On Down the Road. Both of those songs, oh my goodness, absolutely amazing. But you can also tell Michael has a real natural knack for acting as well. He created many short films throughout his career, and this right here, he's showing his acting chops, and it's working. So she then saves him and they begin to form a bond, but while they're talking, she could see that he has no confidence, to which he shows her that he doesn't have a brain. So she invites him to be on the path to the wizard to ask the wizard for confidence. They then are on their way to the wizard, following a yellow brick road to where they reach an abandoned park. And at this abandoned park, we see a statue crushing the Tin Man. The Tin Man then breaks out into a song discussing how he doesn't have a heart. And so they invite him to join them so they can be on their way to the wizard so he can get a heart. The Tin Man also breaks out into a song about lubricating himself. It's a real thing. It happened. So Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man are now on their way to Emerald City to meet with the wizard. While they're on their way, they then stop and find a lion statue, to where a couple seconds later, this statue breaks down and the real lion comes out. And at first, he seems to be ferocious and scary, but then that slowly breaks down and we find out that the lion is actually a coward. They then invite him to come along to Emerald City, but the lion is a little too scared. So they convince him through some words of encouragement and he follows along. Now, one thing you guys are probably noticing is I'm going through this kind of quickly. That's kind of the pacing of this movie. This movie is very, very fast paced. A lot's happening in a short amount of time. She's like, she met the Scarecrow, it's on to the next. She met the Tin Man, it's on to the next. She met the lion, it's on to the next. I would say the second half of this movie is where they kind of slow it down and create an actual storyline. The first half is just kind of the regular Dorothy storyline. Like, we're just giving you this is, you already know what's going on. Like, they're not wasting a breath, which kind of sucks because then you don't really feel for the Scarecrow, you don't really feel for the Tin Man, you don't really feel for the lion. Although I would say the Scarecrow you feel for a little bit more because of Michael singing, bro. Come on, like, it was, you know, he hit them vocal cords that made you feel bad for him, and the birds are bullying him and stuff like that. Hey, Motown definitely gave a little bit more time to that segment. But after the whole gang is now on their way to Emerald City, we see them enter a subway, and this is the halfway mark of the movie where things start to get a little darker. Now, while at the subway station, some weird things begin to happen. So throughout this whole entire sequence, we start to see the lion show immense amount of courage, saving each of his friends. The crew then escape and run away to my type of scenery. Just some great eye candy, you know, it's just, come on. The Scarecrow and Tin Man realize it's a trap, but Dorothy and the lion are already kind of seduced into going in there, and it's almost like this club environment. End up falling in a deep, deep sleep to where the Tin Man crying gets them to awaken. Yeah, okay. So after being awakened, they look over the balcony and see that they're very close to Emerald City, and so they are then on their way. And when they finally arrive to Emerald City, they are stopped by two guards. One of the guards, it glances down at Dorothy's feet and like her slippers, and so they let her in. So as they enter Emerald City, which is inside this vault, we see a group of people, a civilization, who are following every command that the wizard says. The wizard's saying change the color of their clothes and color of everything. They're gonna change everything. Wizard's kind of just toying with them. The wizard's just having fun. The wizard's probably up there kicking up his feet, eating Popeye's chicken. Hey, I know I would. So the wizard pauses the dancing of everybody and demands that the guards bring the woman with the silver slippers, which is Dorothy. So at first they just want Dorothy, but after Dorothy says she will not go or give up the slippers without her friends, they proceed to let all them through. It is at this point they finally get to meet the wizard, who has a big tin mask which shines a bright light. And in the video with Ray, she says that beam of light actually temporarily blinded Diana Ross because she had to stare into an immense amount of light. But the group then asks for what they're missing. They ask for a brain, they ask for courage, and they ask for a heart. Now the wizard tells them that the only way he's going to grant any of their wishes is if they kill the witch. So the group is now inside this room contemplating what should they do, and Dorothy ultimately says she has to do it because she wants to get home. She will do anything to get home. And so the group is now searching for the witch, to which they see she's in a sweatshop factory. When Dorothy tries to capture the witch, it backfires and Dorothy ends up being the one being captured. The witch wants her silver shoes and tortures her friends for it. So Dorothy then agrees to give her slippers, knowing that without the slippers she cannot get home. But right before she does, she glances at the scarecrow who's getting his body sliced in half. And the scarecrow kind of gives her that nod to look up at the fire alarm. And so she pulls it and it begins to rain. And so the rain was the witch's kryptonite, which then caused the witch to sink into her throne. Yeah, it kind of very quick, just all that happened, boom, 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 a couple singing in between. Yeah, because Dorothy and her friends got rid of the witch, the slave workers who turned into different people, they almost like shed their skin and turn into like human beings. They were like goblins before, they turned to real human beings. But they thank Dorothy and they help her get right back to the wizard through a shortcut. And it's when they go through this shortcut we see the truth about the wizard.
What a phony! Everything they say about me is true!
So after figuring out that the wizard is a phony, he's a fraud, the fairy of the south approaches out of nowhere and she begins to pretty much tell Dorothy, woman up and move out. That's essentially what she was telling her. That's what I got from this movie, okay? Little does that fairy know what prices are like today. So I think it's clear by now you guys can notice all the problems that are in this film. The pacing was very fast. The story doesn't have much things different to it. The way the characters make their appearances was a little flat, but yet the film still does have its pros. Practical effects look really good. I liked and can appreciate the costume designs that some of them had. The world building was also really fun to be in. Although some of it can come across as a little comical, it looked really good. I can also always appreciate a black rendition to help push the culture forward. This is one of those movies that you thank for paving the path for black renditions to be made. Overall, this was an interesting film with good music and great cultural significance. But man, it was somewhat of a train wreck of a movie. So let me know what you guys think of the movie The Wiz. Hit the comment section, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.